Oh boy, Rigby, bring that ass here. It's your turn, my guy.
Lately I've been crashed out, dashed out. It's been like a mosh pit in my damn house. Got way too lit at the party.
This episode will definitely make you hate Rigby. Season 2, episode 18, do me a solid. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Now this episode kicks off with Rigby laying on the couch being lazy like always when Mordecai walks in and Rigby asks him to do him a solid and grab him a lemonade from the kitchen. Mordecai was like, you're lazy, but I'll get it. You owe me a solid though. Rigby says, duh, of course, that's how solids work. He gets Rigby the lemonade, but then immediately uses his solid to ask Rigby to change the TV.
Do me a solid and change the channel.
Rigby then counters his solid with another solid by asking Mordecai to hand him the remote. We are then taken to the guy sitting in the kitchen when Mordecai asks him to change his comic book paper, which is a solid. It is after this when the guys start getting out of hand and just flat out get ridiculous with the solids. I mean, they're just asking each other to do little simple stuff. A waste of a good solid if you ask me. This is the only solid that I can vouch for. I mean, look at those goddamn nachos. Dude, this show always makes me hungry, I swear. But anyways, we then see the guys standing outside when Skips and Pops pulls up, and Skips asks them if they wanted chips with their cheese because my guys just completely went overboard with the cheese, which is very hard to do in most cases because I put cheese on damn near everything, a lot of it too. Rigby then Tom Brady's the nachos against the tree and they all laugh. Like, bruh, you just gonna waste them nachos like that? Come on. Pops then asks them if they are supposed to be working at the snack bar today when Rigby asks Pops to do him a solid and cover for them. This is when Skips tells them they shouldn't abuse the power of solids because bad things can happen. They totally blow this off and just ask Skips and Pops to pretend they didn't see them, so Benson couldn't get on their heads about dodging their duties at the snack bar. Skips agrees but then says they owe him a solid now. Now this solid they owe him will be crucial later on in the story. They then decide to head to the coffee shop, which then Mordecai asks Rigby to buy him a coffee for a solid, of course. His solid is followed up with Rigby asking him to pull his chair out. Mordecai then whispers to Rigby that Eileen is checking him out. Mordecai suggests that she may like him when Rigby tells him to shut up. Now we all know around season 2 Rigby was still capping like he didn't want Eileen, so that's why he's acting like that. Eileen comes up to Rigby and asks him if he wanted to go play mini golf later on that night because her shift ended early. When Rigby says no because he has to wax his car tonight. Now he's obviously lying so he won't have to go, but Eileen suggests that it wouldn't just be a date thing but more like a group thing because Margaret was also coming. She walks away and after hearing this, Mordecai was like, bruh, you have to do me this solid and go with Eileen so I can run this game on Margaret. Rigby says there's no way he's going out with Eileen. Like, I don't know why this man was stunned so hard on her because Eileen is cool as fuck. Mordecai begs and Rigby finally agrees but says he'll only do it for 10 solids. Mordecai was like, come on bruh, 10 solids? Now that's crazy. Now Rigby was green for this, but I mean he did have to go out with a girl he didn't like at the time, I guess, so it's whatever. Now we all know that Mordecai would do anything for Margaret. Well, at least at this point the show was in at this time. So he agrees and gives Rigby 10 solids. Now the guys are standing outside the coffee shop when Mordecai tells Rigby tonight will be the night he makes his move. Like, sure, how many times have we heard that? Now Rigby was still low-key mad about going, but Mordecai tells him to just play it cool. Rigby says, yeah, but I might have to use a solid or two to get me through the night. Now if you have watched this episode, then you know Rigby uses his solids to completely ruin Mordecai's night with Margaret, and it starts right here. Rigby asks Mordecai to hang in the back seat with Eileen while he rides shotgun with Margaret. That's already one solid he has used to ruin his bro's night. Mordecai agrees, of course, because it's a solid. You You have to do it. We are then taken to the golf course when Rigby asks Mordecai to yell as loud as he can. Rigby does this because he knows it's Margaret's turn and yelling will definitely throw her shot off. Mordecai says, what the fuck, like dude, you don't even get anything from that. Rigby implies that he'll call off the date if Mordecai doesn't do his solid, so he does this and it messes up her shot. That's 2 solids Rigby has used to ruin his bro's night. After this, the gang are eating and Mordecai apologizes to Margaret for ruining her shot earlier. This is when Rigby tells Mordecai to taste his burrito and see if it tastes fishy to him, but he only does this because he knows the burrito is super hot. Mordecai tastes the burrito and immediately spits it out accidentally on Margaret. Turns out Rigby had put hot sauce all over the burrito. That's 3 solids Rigby has used so far. After this, the guys head to the movie theater and Rigby asks Mordecai to get him some popcorn. Mordecai implies that he doesn't have any money left, but Rigby is like, nah bruh, I don't give a f. You better ask Margaret for it. Now keep in mind, he has to do this. Do you know how embarrassing it would be to ask a girl you like for money for popcorn because you don't have it? You're basically already saying you're a broke ninja. So Mordecai asks Margaret if he can borrow $5 and we clearly see Margaret is starting to get annoyed. And this is pretty much Rigby's plan. He comes back with the popcorn, but Rigby is like, nah bruh, go put some butter on this. So Mordecai has to get up again and go get butter. Now we all know how annoying it is when somebody in your row at the movies is constantly getting up, and Rigby knows this shit is annoying, which is why he keeps making Mordecai get up. I mean, just look at Margaret's face. She's clearly not happy. So far, Rigby has used 5 solids to ruin Mordecai's night with Margaret. Rigby then tells Mordecai that his hands are slippery from the butter and tells Mordecai to go get him some napkins. Now he just wasted a solid because we see Mordecai had already grabbed napkins. He probably had been thinking this man was about to send him back for that, so he made plans to get them in advance, but didn't tell Rigby so he could waste a solid. Smart. So Rigby gets mad and tells Mordecai to take the fall for what he was about to do.
Sorry everybody.
So far, that's 7 solids my guy has used, so they make it back to the park when Rigby sends Mordecai to go get ice cream sandwiches for everyone. He then tells Mordecai, nah bruh, not from the freezer, but go all the way to the snack bar and get the really good ones. That's 8 solids so far. So Mordecai comes back with the sandwiches when he walks in on Muscle Man and High Five Ghost sitting in the front room. Turns out Rigby had invited them over because he obviously knows Muscle Man is going to ruin everything Mordecai has planned. He asks to see Rigby in the kitchen and asks him why he's using all his solids to ruin his date with Margaret when Rigby says,
why'd you use your solid to ruin my life?
Mordecai tells him to quit being a baby when Rigby says, shut the f up, I still have 1 solid left and I can ruin your whole existence. Mordecai says, fine, just use your last solid and get it over with because I don't want Margaret to leave. Now this is the face of a man who knows he's about to ruin your life. Rigby whispers in Mordecai's ear and gives him his last request, but apparently this last request was so insane Mordecai didn't want to do it. He refuses when Rigby says that he has to do it. We then see the house start shaking. Mordecai ignores Rigby's request and asks Margaret if she wants to go up to see his CD collection. Rigby says, Mordecai, it's a solid, you better do it. Mordecai ignores him again and we then see the house start shaking for real this time.
Rigby! It's because you didn't do the solid! Do the solid!
No!
It's like some evil dark being is watching over the solids, and if you don't do your solid, he's going to fuck shit up. So Mordecai ignores him again, and this time things get crazy. The house starts to fall apart and Rigby keeps shouting at Mordecai to do the solid or they're all going to die. Benson then walks in and asks what the fuck is going on, and this is when Skip says he told them not to abuse the solids. Mordecai explains to Skips that he's not abusing them, but Rigby is. He tells Skips that Rigby wants him to do a solid that's worth 10 solids.
What was it? Wow.
That's crazy.
Now Skip's reaction to finding out what the solid is should tell you everything you need to know. Whatever it was, it had to be some wild shit. Everybody begs Mordecai to just do the solid, but he says no because if he does, then Margaret won't ever respect him again. Margaret tells him to just do the solid because friends are supposed to come through for friends, when in reality Rigby wasn't coming through for his friend, because if he was, Mordecai wouldn't be doing this in the first place. She explains to Mordecai that she did Eileen a solid by coming out with them tonight because she had broke a date to do it. Now Mordecai couldn't believe what he was hearing. She had only came because she was doing Eileen a solid. So after hearing this, Mordecai finally decides to do the solid, and judging by everyone's facial expressions, this had to be some pretty embarrassing stuff. We can't see what he's doing, but we definitely can hear it.
No, bro.
Rigby then takes it a step further and continues to embarrass Mordecai because we see he had recorded whatever it was that Mordecai did and was watching it back with the rest of the guys laughing at him. Rigby had even made 2 versions of the video. Like, can you be a bigger asshole at this point? Now yes, Rigby did eventually end up destroying the tape, but this was after all the damage had already been done. So tell me what you guys think about this episode in the comments down below. Rigby was an asshole in this episode and it would definitely make you hate him. But anyways, until next time guys, peace.